couple of gigs, apart from Fletcher's Brew, which we'll get to, you've also been playing with Leanne Carroll and Roger Carey.
Yeah, that's the trio. We worked for 20 odd years, with a period of about 4 or 5 years. I was doing that gig. I still am doing that gig. And she's gone on to more success and success. She's got jazz awards coming out of her.
Great.
What's her name? But it's great. We did a tour of America last year in Canada.
Nice.
Standing ovation every gig.
Excellent.
16,000 people, Montreal Jazz Festival, all that stuff.
Superb.
And she just lights everywhere up she goes. She just really she does, and it's one of the very few gigs I do where I know something's going to happen that hasn't happened before.
There's
really?
Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah, there's a great video online of you guys playing Caravan.
Oh, it's at Brecon. That was a TV show. Yeah,
that is just awesome, and you could tell that like the fun that you three are having. It's like, you know, you're almost kind of oblivious of the audience.
It's just the
communication. And she's just sitting there, just with this big smile on her face.
Well, the thing, one of the rarest things about Leanne is because she's such a great musician and a great singer and a great improviser, and she pulls on all these different elements of the different things she's done in the past. And if me and Roger, we decided to go all prog on it in the middle of a duet with her, or a drum and bass thing,
right?
Because she's got the history of
London Electricity with Jungle.
With Jungle, bless him.
Yeah.
And he, you know, and she's got all that, so she doesn't mind you giving it one.
Nice.
Which is great, and then it can be like heartbreaking. There's people like laughing, crying, and all sorts of the audience, you know.
Yeah, she's
all at the same time.
She's very gifted. But again, you and Roger, there's an empathy between you and Roger that is
grown and grown.
Yeah. Well, if you've been doing it for 20 years, then I didn't realise you did it for that long. But
yeah, it's like 1990. 91, so it's longer than 20 years, isn't it?
Right, but just the rapport that's going on, the communication between the three of you is exceptional.
It's fun.
We'll put a link into that within.
Please,
yeah, that's a really great treat, and it does kind of showcase the trio, you know, very, very well.
Yeah, we just bounce off each other, and there's loads of video clips from all over the world we've done, where it captures the mood, or if it's really vibey, we'll just go all very heavy groove related stuff, or if it's a very jazzy festival, we won't do much groove stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden she'll do all this thing and go into a Doris Day tune, and then straight from the Doris Day go into Whipping Post.
Oh,
the Zappa
Brothers.
version. Yeah, the Zappa version. Don't with the 11 on the beginning and all that stuff.
Right.
So it's really it's unpredictable.
Nice. Well, it keeps you on your toes.
Which I like that.
It's kind of seat of the pants moments.
Well, I'm used to that.
They're usually the best ones. It's like you either kind of crash and burn or something special comes out of it.
At least you're trying to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like so many people I see. I mean, occasionally here I see so many people. They're very good players, but then you see them somewhere else and they've played exactly the same solos.
Yeah.
You know, and that reaching and stretching and searching for stuff. That's what I really respect. You know.
Yeah.
Even if they're not getting something, you know, it's just that effort.
Jeremy's like that though.
Exactly.
Jeremy exactly. The first time I saw him, he was 18 or something, and I was gobsmacked. Yeah, it was that in Bournemouth with the clinic with Louis Belson, and he was trying to pull out all this Vinnie stuff, and he got 95% of it.
Yeah.
But his verve,
determination.
His spirit of actually just really trying to play something different and exciting.
Totally for that.
There's not many people that will do that.
No, not many people can pull that off.
No.
You know, a lot of people are great players, but they are literally shedding and reproducing what they've practiced.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and people say, well, what do you practice? And I said, I haven't practiced since 1980.
Right.
And I haven't done anything since. I just haven't.
Right.
I've got the worst arthritis coming up and all sorts of stuff here.
Right.
You know, so I save it for the gig. I don't want to peak too early.
No, fair play.
But you know what I mean. But this is all agony, you know. So it's good to keep yourself loose, but if I can't play what's up here, that's when I'll start worrying. But
okay.
As long as I can play what's up here,
right,
and get it out on the instrument.
Yeah. Do you try and warm up before gigs?
I've been told I should warm up and warm down, you know, like jogging. And there's at the times I've come here and I've not been able to lift a glass, which is more painful than not being able to lift a drumstick. No, I couldn't pick up a glass because all the tendons in here were buggered. And there's a waiter here, Roger. He's a fantastic therapist, physio. And he got my arm in a bucket of ice.
Yeah.
And then warmed it up, bucket of ice. 40 minutes later, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know, but he said, no, you should do an exercise when you finish.
Yeah.
To warm it down. It's like jogging and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I didn't know anything
just
about
slow it all back down again.
Exactly.
Because otherwise you get the build up of lactic acid and all that.
That's what it is.
And that's the painful.
Tell me about it. It's agony, all this. But I should do many things. But
But you don't.
But I do to start with, but I'm terrible at keeping, to a regime.
Okay, all right. Up to date, Fletcher's Brew.
Ah, now fun band.
Yeah.
Fun for all the family.
Now, I mean, did that come about just because of your associations with various people here, and you thought, I want this guy on trumpet, I want that guy on bass?
Yeah, it did. It worked. It went through a weird sort of like a change, because I started off with Mornington Lockett and then we had Jim Watson on piano and Steve Pearce, but I used to use various bass players, but now it's just me and Steve basically is the nerve centre.
Right.
And we went with 4 days in the studio. This was about 3 years ago. Been meaning to mix it and put it out, but we got 4 days onto 2-inch tape.
Oh.
And it sounds fat as anything.
I bet it does.
But it's just the effort, time, and money to put something out. And it sounds incredible. So many stuff. Some stuff I still haven't heard yet that we recorded in those 4 days.
Wow.
So that was me and Steve, the nerve centre, and then we had Jim Watson, and then we got the great guitarist called Carl Orr, who played with Billy Cobham for many years, still playing with Billy.
Right.
And then young Freddie Gavita,
who's awesome.
I know from the big band, because we play every month with the big band here at Ronnie's.
Right.
And he's something else. And then when he first started trying to get the old Randy Brecker thing going with the wow pedals and all that, he actually put a post on Facebook. Has anybody got a pedal? And can they show me how to use it? I said, we want to do some more heavier stuff. So now he's got his whole wobble board, we call it.
Right. He's got the Doug Wimbish board.
He really has. Well, everybody has. Carl's got one. Steve's got a huge one as well, like that. It's all wobble boards on the stage. Talent boosters.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. But it's a very interesting. Again, I mean, it really. I mean, a lot now. You can correct me or not, but I mean, are some of the tunes original tunes or
50-50?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, mainly due to Carl, and we do a tune or two by Freddie, but Carl's got so many good tunes of his own that we thought, we can't not do it, because we'd just do a twisted version of standards. Me and Steve would mess around, or we'd do something. Because when we were in Mornington, we used to do the things he used to do with Lawrence Cottle, like we do a version of Caravan in 9.
Oh right.
Which is really nice. I'll send it you. It's really nice.
Caravan in 9.
Oh yeah, it's based around one of Lawrence's bass riffs.
Right. Yeah.
We used to do that. We've got loads of stuff that we'll never play again that we've recorded. But now we've got this weird entity where we create a vibe on stage. We said, what should we do first? I don't know. But we always do this same thing second, which is an evil version of a Wayne Shorter tune called Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
But me and Steve just go a bit apeshit on that. But it's a ballad.
Yeah.
It's a ballad. It's to start with. And then, but it's good. The gig just takes off, and I've had people. I mean, when people used to clear out after the main act was on here, now people actually stay and they're queuing up to come to the late show.
Nice,
which is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's such a good
great
vibe, and it goes down really well.
Excellent.
Occasionally it's a bit noisy, and I do address them severely.
Yeah, I have an instance of noise downstairs when it was kind of in the old configuration.
Yeah.
And it was Eliane Elias with Peter Erskine and
Mark Johnson.
Yeah. And it was all getting a bit noisy.
Yeah.
I think it was a Friday. So they're all in. The Friday crowd are in. And I was suddenly aware that they were just dropping the volume down and 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 down. But the intensity was one. It was one. At that time, there were hairs on the back of my neck that did stand up.
I remember those days.
It was just unbelievable.
It's good, isn't it?
But just the way they dealt with the audience, instead of sort of going, look, hang on a minute, let's stop playing, which is like always a bad, thing to do. But they just brought it down, but the intensity did not waver. In fact, if anything, it became greater. Because Peter's touch.
We could do more with it. People forget that when you're playing really strong stuff, once you get to a certain level, you've got nowhere else to go, and you get to a certain volume that you can't play even like a double on the bass drum, because you're slamming it. And all your muscles lock up. So to play fast and be relaxed, but it's not. But I don't have a problem with playing fast and dealing with that. It's when the volume goes up, when it really goes up, and then you just choke in the drums. They're not speaking at all, because you're assaulting them.
Yeah, you're killing them.
Exactly. And it gets to that, and that's when I feel really frustrated, because it's overstepped the mark.
Yeah.
And I still do it regularly. Overdo it, I do.
But so anyway, what's coming up? What's down the road for you? I mean, Fletcher's Brew obviously is going to be an ongoing thing.
They keep asking us back every month, and it's been a couple of years now.
Right.
Before that, it was the Mark Fletcher Quartet,
right,
which I used to get Dick Pearce or Mornington Lockett and front it and stuff on horns. Now I'm just glad to be playing here every month and every weekend.
Right.
And obviously I'm doing midweek like tonight, and I do the big band on the first Sunday in every month.
Right. What's the big band like? That's got to be fun.
Oh, it's great. It's run by Pete Long, who's a nutter. It's great because like sometimes we have a theme, like at the beginning of this year, where the first theme was a whole evening of Herbie Hancock stuff with an 18-piece band.
Nice.
And then it was we did some weather report. We did a whole night of weather report.
Oh, fantastic.
Jack Epistorius stuff. And then we do like a Count Basie and go back to the roots and do some early Ellington and things like that.
Nice.
So it's such a good spectrum of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other ball game, isn't it? Again, playing with a big band.
Well, yeah, I love it because the best chair in the big band is the drums because you have the most fun.
Yeah,
it really is, and you control a lot of things. And I'm not a control freak, but you can. It's up to you to drive it. And a lot of people who play big bands, they haven't got the drive, or somebody's got too much drive. Because when there's somebody soloing, it's not a big band anymore. It's a piano-based drums with a horn.
Yeah.
So to play and play stiff like as though you were doing it with a big band section. Just behind their solo, it's like putting a straitjacket on.
Yeah.
So if you listen to people like Mel Lewis, who could play loose and interact.
Lovely.
Not think, oh, it's got to be Buddy, it's got to be this.
Yeah.
You know, but it's great. It's great. And there's some good old players in the big band. There's like Tony Fisher, who's played with everybody. And he was his big mates with Kenny Clare, and they used to go to gigs together.
Oh wow!
And I'm picking his brains every week.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine they must walk in this place and they see you, and it's almost like here comes Mark, and they run. You know?
No. What's he going to ask? No, we had a great chat last week. Actually, really good chat.
What's he going to ask this week?
Well, it was about what car to get for drums and all that.
Right.
And he said, "Oh, Kenny was always looking for a car who could fit everything in the boot." I said, "I've got one."
Right.
I said, "I've got a Mercedes S500 Coupe V8." 5-litre V8, but all the kit and 2 snares and cymbals and everything goes in the boot.
Right.
He went, oh, Kenny would have loved that.
Yeah. He probably would have done too.
He would, yeah.
Okay. Now, apart from all your actual sort of general musical activities, you've also you've released some loops, some jazz drum loops.
Yeah, I got asked by this Matt Pellin, who's he came and saw a few years ago actually one of the Brew gigs here, and he was at the front and he was gobsmacked, and he took me down to a studio in Brighton.
Right.
He said, "Do you want to do a session for us?" So I went down there, and they got my drums in, parked my car, took me for lunch, and gave me an envelope full of cash.
Nice.
I went, "Oh, this is the best session I've ever done. Play what you like. Play what you like. Just give me some BPMs and kit. Play what you like." And he's put loops and samples, and it's really sold well apparently.
Yeah.
And he wants me to do 2 or 3 more.
Oh, excellent! You're up for that?
Yeah, and he wants the Brew to do it.
Oh, nice.
So I could do stings and stabs and little loops and stuff like that.
Well, there you could maybe get some studio time and
mix. Well, he's offered actually, and he's really down in Brighton because it's all that that Fatboy Slim sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they've done loads of like pretty successful commercial stuff. And I said, well, I might give you the Maltese. And I'll have a do with it because I'd like a fresh pair of ears to do it because I'm
that's probably a good idea. Yeah,
there's a lot of material.
Excellent.
And so I'm all for that. So that's there's another load coming up. But the jazz loops are great, fantastic. It's called Loop Masters. The studio, and they've got quite a good library of stuff.
Right.
In fact, Jungle did some stuff for them as well.
Did he? Oh, excellent. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's looking promising. And I'm just glad to still be here.
Yeah. Do you teach as well?
I do. I've done a lot of master classes, but there's a handful of guys I've been teaching recently. And I've been teaching for like 30 years, no longer than that. Crikey. And a couple of my old pupils keep coming in to say hello. There's like Max Beasley comes in.
Right, yeah.
Like that. And all of a sudden he's at the front. He went, all right, what are you doing? You're in LA. You're filming. You're doing it.
You're in a TV show.
He is. He's in Suits.
Yeah.
He's in the new Suits.
Yeah.
And it's good, to teach and watch people sort of blossom. But I'd like to pick and choose who I teach.
Yeah, sure.
Because years ago, when I was a bit skint, you end up teaching just to get by and pay bills and stuff, and that used to drive me insane.
Yeah,
I really did. So now, there's a few friends and people. Do you know Peter Worth?
Yes.
Teaching him.
Oh, there you go.
I was him this week.
Right.
Well, last week, and he's come on great. He's got a great soft feel, but no confidence. It's just to see, the positive things that people play. and nurture it. You know.
Yeah.
Nurture it. That's all it is. Not say, oh no, you've got to do this sticking and all that. You haven't got to do that.
Yeah. No, that's not. No, it'd probably be fun having a drum lesson with you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see what you're playing right. I can see what you're doing wrong.
But does it make you also think when you're teaching something? Does it also make you think a lot about stuff?
Does, yeah. It refreshes the stuff that I've forgotten about. That I take for granted.
Yeah.
You know, and then and a lot of my students can play some stuff that I can't play.
Right.
You know,
well, that's a nice trade.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I go, I can't play that, and then I've taught people who are percussionists, and right, I'll get this with a shaker, I do this thing, and I'm like a 3-year-old. I can't do that. And it's funny because you get down on the snare drum, and they say, right, play this 6-stroke roll, and so and this, and then inverted paradiddles with flams and all that. In the 70s, I'd have been able to do it. Now, I've got no interest whatsoever.
No, right.
And I've got people do it. I said, okay, well, just give me a drum and I'll play it. you know, but to actually do a set thing with it,
right.
I can't do it. Not anymore. I haven't got the interest to do it. I'll probably, if I do a bit of work, I'd shed on it.
Okay.
It, you know, but
all right.
I was into all the buddy stuff and all that stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Really. Still am. Really.
No,
it comes out now and again. You know?
There's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Ooh.
You know. Okay, all right. Now, just a couple of other little things I'd like to touch on. We interviewed Steve Smith back. It was either at the beginning of this year or the very end of last year, and we were talking about like the state of jazz, if you like. And he said that as far as his personal opinion was that New York and London.
Yeah.
Were really
Without
the two places where it was really going.
Totally.
Yeah.
For a long time now.
Yeah.
For a long time now, it's New York and London. Without a doubt, you know. I mean, New York's got some killing players. I mean, I'm fortunate because I get to meet a lot of them, like Chris Dave.
Right, yeah.
He was playing here and I had to use his kit. Try that one.
Yeah. Oh, where's the hi-hats? Where's the hi-hats?
Well, yeah. So I pulled out some of the house stuff like that. He got the old and rower snare drums like that. But he stayed and watched the gig and he was giving me a hug and digging it.
Yeah. He's
lovely guy.
For me, he's like kind of like. I don't know if this is the right analogy, but he's like the Tony Williams of drums today.
That's been said a few times, you know.
Because he's just taken it so, you know, to another level. And it's so kind of wobbly and wrong, but it's so right.
I like it because it's not rigid. A lot of guys who've got all the gospel chop stuff together, and they mistake a groove when it's a rut. Because it's just this monotonous. Oh, okay, yeah, it's a rut. You know, it's not a groove. A pocket. It's got to breathe. You know, got to get excited. But the way Chris Dave plays, he's so inventive, and it's I don't mean it in the wrong way, but it's almost like having Tourette's, and you just wait, how do I do on this? Just take so many totally unrelated things.
I want to know how he kind of grasped that. The mind. I don't know whether this is true, but I read or somebody told me that when he graduated from university or wherever it was that he did his solo piece on something like Six Timpani or something like that. I don't know whether that's true.
Oh, I'll ask him. Definitely.
But just the whole concept of like nobody else would have thought of bringing in Six Timpani.
Eric Delaney.
Eric Delaney would have.
I saw him just before he died. He played a gig here. Eric Delaney did with Digby Fairweather. And I went up to him outside like that. He's just a leather biker's jacket, 80-something years old. Comes out, I went, how you doing, Eric? I'm all right. I said, do you know a drummer called Mark Fletcher? He went, yeah, great player, I know him. I said, it's me. He looked at me, what happened? I said, I turned into you.
He's a great player.
I was lovely, lot of history there as well. Max Abrams.
And there you go again. Yeah, that name keeps cropping up.
But Timps.
Yeah, but Chris Dave, there's a couple of other people as well that are doing some very different things.
Mark Giuliano.
Again, yeah.
He's coming over soon. We're doing that duet thing he does with Brad Meldo.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, that would be interesting.
But I think he's going to be at like the Barbican, so he should be here.
Yeah.
But apparently, it's all.
Yeah.
But it's just intimate stuff. You've got to watch it in intimate. The amount of times I've been to a festival, I've played a festival with James Moody and Van Morrison, and it's just a massive, huge shell, you know.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that want to come and play here. Because the intimacy and obviously the history of the place.
Sure, yeah.
Oh man, loads. I saw a documentary last night about Hendrix, you know, and the kudos of coming here. And Jimmy used to bring his amp and his guitar in to sit in with people, with Roland Kirk.
Yeah.
And of course he played his last gig here. He died the next morning.
That's right.
With Eric Burden, he did a gig.
Wow.
Sat in.
Yeah.
But that you know, kudos of coming in to play, and it's great when you see Vinny here with Jeff Beck and people like that. Well. But then I look at the cars turning up, the limo, and you know, Bon Jovi and stuff, all this stuff coming up. I'm going, it's the first time you've been here, isn't it?
Lucky the car brought you.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't have found it otherwise.
This tour when they came in, I couldn't believe it. You know, Tico Torres and all that. You think, oh, they're all. They're not.
No.
But it's great. You know, Clapton and Jimmy Page all came here to watch that. You know, it's great.
Well, because the other thing, I mean, you know, and Charlie's a regular.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he has supported the club. You know,
bloke,
wholeheartedly, isn't he? He's a wonderful man, and again, he's got a big passion for jazz.
Yeah,
totally. You know.
Yeah, he always has though.
Yeah,
it's amazing now that a lot of successful musicians, not just drummers, but like very successful like in the music industry, like commercially, like rock and stuff like that. When they get the money, they end up like a jazz. Well, Sting's the biggest.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, just to sort of wrap up, and because here we are in Ronnie's
history.
I mean, the history of it, and Ronnie Scott himself. I mean, he was. To you, he was almost like a father figure to some extent.
Well, yeah. Well, because I lost my dad when I was very young. So, but I always had this, you know, sort of inclination to go to like older guys who were really sort of knowledgeable and try and sort of like milk.
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
I've always had that thing, and I always got on well with other people who were a lot older than me.
Right.
You know, and I really respect tradition.
Yeah.
And history, and Ronnie and Pete. I used to go on the road with Ronnie, and he used to tell me stories and stuff that wouldn't be written in a book.
No.
You know,
no.
Like that. And he'd confide.
Sure,
and some really heavy personal stuff as well. You know, but then I'd ask him about certain things. He'd make a joke about it.
Right.
He would. He wouldn't just fob you off, but he would make a joke about any situation really. It's like when he offered me a tour with his quartet. He says, "Oh, Martin Drew can't do this tour we've got. He's off with Oscar Peterson.
Right.
Can you do it?" Great. Put them all these dates in the book. Then about a week later, he says, "Oh, the tour's off, by the way. Well, we're still doing the tour, but Martin can do it now because Oscar's had a stroke." And I went, "Oh no." He went, "It all happens to you, doesn't it?" He'd make a joke about that. I went, "No, I meant about Oscar." And I went, "Oh, very." He would. He was lovely.
Yeah. Well, and because of Ronnie, we're sitting in this environment now, and
it's great,
and it's still bearing his name, and rightly so.
Well, it's become a strength now. This club is is run very well, very well.
Right.
Great stuff, and the business is booming.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That's good.
It's very well run.
Well, despite the kind of worldwide recession, people still want to be entertained, and if they want to be entertained and see something like, you know, of quality, then you're going to come here.
True. You know, there's some nights it's people who have never been to a jazz club before. Yeah. And a lot of the time they get rowdy and stuff, and I do have words.
But I think to be fair, I think that happens in a lot of places, unfortunately. You know. But
I know. But it's just, you know, I try and say, look, do you know who you are?
Yeah.
I said, you come out for a quiet drink and a quiet chat, and somebody builds a jazz club around you.
Yeah.
I said, it's funny, you sit right in the front by the stage and shouting to each other like that. And somebody playing, I couldn't hear the band. Seriously, I couldn't. Last week.
So you had words.
I'm trying not to lose it. I have lost it a couple of times, which I'm really embarrassed about. But
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I've got a 24-inch Wuhan right this guy's head like that. And I was saying to him, giving it this. Sorry, I'm not supposed to make arm movements. I'm giving it all this. And, you know, and he goes, all right, mate, all right.
Yeah. No, it's not all right.
It's not all right.
No,
I can't hear the band.
Yeah.
And I'm playing in it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have to say, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you all the success with Fletcher's Brew.
Oh,
definitely.
Have some fun with that.
And I hope to see
it.
Yeah, I hope to see you out also on the road with Leanne as well and Roger.
Yeah.
That's definitely a great gig.
Yeah, good.
But yeah. Good luck with the Loop Masters thing, and please do resurrect those old tapes, and so we can all.
I've got about 3 or 4 carrier bags of 25, 30 years of recordings here.
Good
on
Lord.
cassettes.
In a carrier bag.
In carrier bags. I got them in the car behind the seats. I got recordings of me playing with Ronnie and some of the old Count Basie stuff and Woody Herman. And I should get them, because some great stuff I did with James Moody.
Right.
I just want to digitise them, but you have to do it all in real time.
Yeah. Well, don't leave them in the car.
All right.
That's my word of advice, because you know you're going to come back one day and the car's not going to be there.
That's happened. I've lost a lot of tapes. I had a car stolen with some recordings I did with Tony Levin.
Oh.
I know, the only recordings.
Yeah.
Cassettes. You know?
Yeah. Don't. Well, you should have learned by now. Anyway,
right.
Mr. Fletcher, sir, it's
very
been
kind.
an absolute pleasure.
Likewise,
thank you very, very much
You're
indeed.
welcome.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Fletcher.
I think playing a nice ballad. That's so naked, right? So you don't always have to bring the hi-hat in on the ballad. So it's 3, 2. Try and slow that. Then go to the bridge. Try not to go into double time, that's the thing. No. Trying to play ballad without main triplets as well. Let's get the Elvin handbrake on it. The Elvin handbrake right there. In tempo, it just sounds like it slows down. Yeah. That's what you hear in your head. Those doubles. There you go.